Do you guys know or have you heard of the 1,000 pound club?
Sounds sexual.
Is that as in like a weightlifting thing where you do your squat, your bench, and your deadlift?
That's exactly what it is.
Oh, okay.
So the
Sounds
1,000
sexual.
the 1,000 pound club is either 4,000 quarter pounders
What?
Oh, James is interested.
or a combination of 3 lifts to get to a total of 1,000 pounds. Those lifts being the deadlift, the bench press, and the squat, specifically the back squat, not a front squat. So I'm glad you know it. So what if I told you there was a more exclusive club, which was the 1,500 pound club?
I could believe it. I could see it incrementally going up. That'd make
1
sense.
million pound club.
Well, I don't think you could get...
1 million
I
pounds.
don't think you get that high. But what if you believe 1,500? What about 2,000 pounds?
That'd really be pushing it. Because what's that? Like, if you want to hit like how are you breaking down the 1,000 pounds? Because like the benchmark for bench press is like 225, which is 100 kilos. But if you're someone that's going to hit 1,000, you're benching more than that. You're probably benching 300. Squat, you can go more than that. So you're probably getting like to 600, like 300, 400 on a squat, maybe. No,
And doing the maths.
It's probably the limit. Like at max. I don't think anyone's ever made it there. I may be wrong, but I didn't come across it in my research. But if you've got the 1,000 pound club, what about a super total? Have you heard of the super total?
No.
Super turtle.
Super total.
Okay.
Super
I heard
turtle.
And I was like, well, that's interesting.
Oh, sorry, turtle just reminded me. Do you remember the movie Master of Disguise? It's like a terrible.
Oh yeah, guys.
Turtle.
Yeah.
Turtle. And he's oh god, I need to watch that again. I haven't watched that since like primary school, early primary
Like
school.
live action or?
Yeah, and like the thing is, he's like learns how to disguise himself so well. He like disguises himself as like grass or something.
As a turtle?
No, he disguised himself as a turtle to get into the turtle club, but that was just the name of the club. But he thought they were actually had to be a turtle.
One of those classic misunderstandings.
Yeah.
Okay, well, I won't spoil yet what a super total is, but I'll say
Super
that
turtle.
the man we'll be talking about today is the only man in the 1,500 kilogram club.
Hello and welcome to Wild World of Sport, the podcast where 3 friends sit down, crack a couple beers, and go on a journey to find the wildest story from the world of sport. My name is James Wybrow.
I'm James's brother Ben, no relation.
I'm Carleen Sheaves.
Carleen, because you're not making the 1,000 pound club.
I'm certainly not making the 1,000 pound club, but maybe the 1,000 gram club.
The 1 kilogram club.
I have weighed a kilogram in my life before.
Yeah, it's crazy how like fast babies grow. Like if you tracked from 1 year, like the weight gain from birth to 1 year, and then you scaled that out for like 80 years, if you kept on that same, like you'd be massive.
Yeah, isn't like your height when you're 2, you double that, and that's going to be your height when you've like fully grown, something like that.
I don't know.
Loose
On average, maybe.
Yeah, I know it wouldn't be exact. So if you're like a really short 2-year-old, it's like, yeah, sorry.
Unlucky.
Yeah. But
Messi.
what isn't unlucky is anyone that goes to all my friends. Goes to all my
What a segue.
friends. Bar in cook shops. Fantastic place to go. Fantastic for more than one reason. 1, that they're helping us out by sponsoring the show. But 2, they're supplying some great beers, some great pizzas, some great times, some great sport as well. The footy's back, whichever footy that is. A lot of people debating that on our
What do you
TikTok.
mean by footy?
I love the comments which were footy's footy.
Yeah.
It's that simple.
It's like, well, you're not wrong. Footy is footy.
And Tamp will put the footy on for you.
Yeah, no matter which one
If
it
you
is.
call it footy, they'll know which one it is.
They're that good. And because they're so good, you should give them 5 stars on their Google. And while you're there throwing out 5 stars, give us 5 stars on Spotify, on Apple, on Audible. I'll check another one for the next episode if we're on like, do you remember Deezer and like Pandora? Those other like
I remember
music?
Pandora.
Yeah. We
Yeah.
could be on
I
that.
thought
What about
Pandora's
Vimeo?
gone.
Are we on Vimeo?
Vimeo. We're on Daily Motion.
Are we actually?
No, I don't think.
Oh.
Oh, I mean, someone could be ripping it and putting it on there because we are on YouTube. You can watch us. I'm waving. And when we do the intro and I don't know, before we had video, I was just talking to you guys, but now that there's a video, I don't know if I should just stare directly at the viewer or
I feel like
more candid.
if you could do, we still just talk to each other, but then you could do like, like a gym from the office, like a.
Well,
there has been a couple of those I've edited in. I'm like, hey, yeah,
I do
that's good.
find I completely forget the cameras are on, and then I remember, and I instantly just feel self-conscious, like, oh, I'm being recorded. Have I done the right thing? Have I said the right things?
See,
Have I made any mistakes?
It's funny, the person telling the story, if you're only a purely Spotify listener, which is fine, I am for most of my podcasts because I'm doing it in the car, do not switch over to video if you're driving. Pull over first. But the person telling the story has a one camera on them, then the other two, Carlin and I. Like right now, the camera's on both of us. I'm talking, Carlin's just sitting there. So it can be a bit awkward sometimes. You're like,
Ding it
hey,
down.
I'm just listening. Holy shit, I'm on the camera. I've got to not be picking my nose.
Okay, and with that, I think we should get back on track today because I have a job today, and that's to be a spotter for this story.
Ooh.
So I have to help it when it gets into trouble, and I think that at the moment this
It's
is getting a little bit into trouble here.
Thanks for spotting us.
Yeah, thank
Of
you.
course. Spot you this episode at least. So we're going to be talking about a man, and I think I'll tell you his name. His name's Mark Henry.
It's like, no, I'm not dead.
It's a
So you have to guess. I'm going to get all the way to the end.
Mark Henry.
So Mark was born in June 1971 in Texas. And by the age of 10, he was 5 feet 5 inches.
How tall was he at 2, though?
I don't know. As soon as you said that, I was thinking, I wonder if I could find out how tall he was at 2. But I
Well,
couldn't.
at 10,
Two-
being 5 foot,
2
5.
feet, 3
it's pretty
inches.
tall. Well, whatever his height is when he's fully grown, we'll just halve that, and that'll be his 2.
Yeah, so at 10, he was 5 foot 5, which is 165 centimeters, and 220 pounds or 99.7 kilograms.
Holy.
At
He's like a
10 years old.
balloon.
He was in 4th grade.
He would have rolled to school. Or it could have been pure muscle. Like,
He was
Just gloop.
yeah, I was just thinking.
He did say at the age of 9, he knew he was strong. Like he was just built
Yeah.
to be strong.
Yeah.
So his mother decided.
I feel bad for, all the other kids in the class when the teacher's like sexistly going, oh, is there any strong boys who can help me lift something? And all the guys like, well, there's Henry. He'll just do it for everyone.
Mark.
Surname Henry.
Yeah, I refer to everyone by their surname, Wybrow and Cheese.
Henri. It's actually Henri.
Oh,
So his mother, then seeing how much he'd grown, decided to get Mark and his older brother Patrick a set of weights to help them stay out of trouble as well. If you're at home in the home gym lifting weights, you're not going to be causing trouble on the streets. And if you're a 100-kilo 10-year-old, you could get into some serious trouble. So
yeah.
they loved it. And when the weights weren't heavy enough from that set, they got concrete blocks to then put on the bar to increase the weight. So Mark went to a local high school in Texas in 1986, and he quickly found the weight room there. In his first...
I reckon as soon
Sniffed it
as he
out.
walked in the door, one of the football coaches like, have you ever, you're playing, you're on the team. I've never played football before. I don't care. You're on the team.
Well, funny you say that, because he went to that first workout room. They went, you have to do it at approved sessions. So he went to his first workout, and he loaded the bar to 315 pounds, or 142 kilograms, for a warm-up. And then after every rep, added 2 plates. And for the terminology here, a plate typically is a 45-pound plate, or 20 kilograms. When you say put a plate on, that's kind of the general unit for when people are lifting this heavy a weight.
Yeah, so doing 2 plates is 100 kilos, because then the bar is 20 kilos as well.
Yeah. So he got up to around 585 pounds or 265 kilos before his coach stepped in and stopped him from doing it because when the coach thought this isn't safe for
Yeah, this
a
is too
15-year-old.
much paperwork for me to fill out.
So Mark,
They didn't know what they're in for.
Yeah.
So Mark played basketball and football.
No, he did not play basketball. What position
How tall was
is
he again?
Well, I don't know how tall he was at this age, but by 10 he was 5 foot.
Imagine him setting a screen against you. You'll die.
He was 6
You run
foot.
into a brick wall.
His height as an adult was 6'3". In his second year, his sophomore year for our American listeners, the school introduced its first ever powerlifting team. because
Because
you
of
have
him.
Mark Henry in your school.
Like, whoa.
So Mark competed in the super heavyweight category. So the super heavyweight category is for someone over
is
100
super
kilos
Yeah.
at that age group, and then as an adult over 140 kilograms. In his first year, he won the Texas State Championships at the age of 16. So that's anyone in high school. So from 15 to 18, he won at 16.
By default, I'm sure. There's no one to verse him.
He won the next 2 years as well,
But
in
actually,
89 and
well,
90.
Who is he versing? Do they have statistics on this? Like, are they as big as him?
They would have records of all these meets, but I didn't go through who he beat in the high school team.
And
And-
America's a big place.
Yeah,
There's going to
like-
be anomalies of people that are gargantuan.
Yeah, so he was in Texas, so this was just the state championship. By graduation, so he was 17, turning 18 at this time, he had broken all state records in the 3 competitive lifts. He had an 832-pound squat,
What?
525-pound bench press, and an 815-pound deadlift.
For breakfast.
Yeah.
So, for
was
those-
that his warm up or his working set?
That was his like PBs. They're the records
one
he
rep
broke.
max, yeah.
1 rep max.
Wow.
So that totals to 2,172 pounds. So that's a lot. I think I was thinking 3,000 pounds was like the club you can't get into. But that was his PB. So the squat was in metric units, 377 kilograms, bench of 238 kilograms, and a deadlift of 370 kilograms for a total of 985 kilograms.
Oh, he could have found 15 kilos there somewhere. If America had the metric system, he would have been getting 1,000 kilos.
The number would have been different, so it would have been easier.
Yeah.
Smaller number.
Yeah, so in April 1990, he then competed at the National High School Powerlifting Championships at 18, and he set new records in all 3 competitions.
I believe it.
So his total for the in-competition lifts was 2,033 pounds or 922 kilograms.
She got in like an adult competition at
Yeah.
this stage. Like,
He beat the previous national record for a high schooler by 72 pounds, and according to the New York Times, it was the 8th best lifting total in the world, regardless of age group at that time.
The world's a big place.
Yeah, and he
That's-
was number 8 in 1990 in the world at 18.
Wow. That's something.
It's ridiculous how much weight he could move. Like he was a big boy. But what if I told you not only could he move this weight, but at this time he could dunk a basketball?
What? Yeah, okay.
He weighed at this point between 350 and 400 pounds, and he could dunk.
does he take the hoop down with him?
And he's 6'3".
Yep.
It's taller than average, but it's not insanely tall. He's still got to get a fair way to get to the hoop. Do you have his wingspan?
No, I don't have all those.
Yeah. Well,
numbers,
because
but-
even so, like, he's still got to jump like a fair distance to get to the hoop.
well,
It's like a silverback gorilla, though.
it was like at a.
If I was his coach, like watching him dunk, like, well, maybe not the coach, but like the owner of the venue where you're dunking, like, it's all good for him to take off, but landing,
Yeah.
there's a video of him doing it. It was like at a all-star celebrity kind of game, and in the celebrity dunk contest, and like some of the comments on it were things like he didn't actually dunk when he jumped, he pushed the earth down to then be able to do it. Like if you can deadlift or squat, you can combine 1,600 pounds in those 2 exercises, you've got some serious explosive power.
yeah, yeah.
So, luckily, at that 1990 state meet, Dr. Jan and Dr. Terry Todd were in attendance. And they asked, have you heard of those names?
No.
Nope.
Nope.
Terry Todd is a funny name though.
So,
Dr. Jan.
Dr. Jan and Terry Todd. I don't know if at this point they had their doctorates, but they are doctors, not medical.
Is that how it works?
I don't know if you get it like retroactively, but when I was looking up, they were all just referenced as this, and I didn't look into what year they
Right.
got there.
Dr. Jan.
So these people are they are really important in the history of weightlifting, fitness sports, and just that whole genre of exercise science
Doctors.
and doctors. So Terry was the first man to ever squat 700 pounds and have a total of the 3 lifts over 1,600 pounds, 1,700 pounds, 1,800 pounds, and 1,900 pounds. He also set 15 world records along that point. He was also a leading voice through his writing. He wrote articles in Muscle Magazine, Sports Illustrated, and eventually wrote a book on the history of powerlifting. And he is at the time and still is regarded as like one of the forefathers of powerlifting.
So sorry, when you say he wrote the book on powerlifting, you mean like literally he wrote a book, not, he redefined the sport. He wrote the book on it.
He
but
won
both.
the inaugural powerlifting competition in
So
America.
he did both. He wrote the physical book and he literally wrote the book of the sport.
So his wife Jan,
Do you have like an excerpt of his writing?
I do not. I didn't. He's not the product of the story. I'm just saying that these people were watching Mark Henry when he was 18, and just showing like how important these people are in the world of fitness. Then what their actions, how that is wild. Right. So Jan, his wife, they got together, and Jan wasn't big into lifting, big into fitness, but grew to love it. And with Terry's coaching, she became the original trailblazer in women's powerlifting. At the time, there were no competitions or meets for women to do powerlifting, so Jan was determined to break some records, and the only ones you were able to break, unless it was in a formal competition, which were world records, Guinness World Records. So for Guinness World Records attempts, she was an exhibition at men's powerlifting events. And she had world records in all 3 lifts. She was the first woman ever in the 1,000 pound club and the first ever in the 500 kilogram club. And she was crucial. Powerlifting would not have been a thing for women without Jan. And then she got a doctorate. Jan. Yeah, Dr. Jan got a doctorate. They both got doctorate in sport history and powerlifting, and how the different exercises, developing your body in fitness, and always were against like anabolic steroids. But they studied the impacts and effects of them.
Nice. What an absolute champion.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. In 2019, I think it was, they got inducted to like the Hall of Fame for like strongman lifters and that kind of arena of the sporting world.
Should have been sooner.
Should have been, realistically. But after talking with Mark at that meet, they invited him to Austin to try out with an Olympic expert to see if he would be an Olympic weightlifter. At this point, Mark had only ever done powerlifting. So, do you know the difference between weightlifting and powerlifting? Colin, I'll go to you first, because I think James might know.
No, like I was thinking the activity, like, I don't know, but then I guess like, if I'm thinking of Olympics weightlifting, they're doing the same sort of thing. So, I don't know, is powerlifting just doing like 1 rep max, and then like weightlifting, you've got to do more reps or something?
Not quite, but you're kind of on the right track with like a maximum versus doing more of a thing. James?
I don't know. You teed me up here, and now I've got to be like, I don't know the difference.
So
you win a gold medal for one of them.
That is true. So powerlifting is all about your raw strength and your ability to move the heaviest weight or object. So in a deadlift, it's a single movement where you're just trying to lift the heaviest weight off the ground. Where in weightlifting, it's more about dynamic and explosive movements to be able to not only lift, but move and manipulate the heavier weights.
So the clean and press. You
Clean
got to
and
get
press,
it from
yep.
the ground. Like, you almost deadlift it up, then you got to jerk it and then push it above your head.
Yep. So we've already talked about the 3 lifts in powerlifting, and then weightlifting has 2 lifts or 2 Olympic events, the snatch and the clean and jerk. So a snatch is you're in a wide stance deadlift, and you lift it up and in one motion, get underneath and push it up over your head. And then the clean and jerk is 2 movements where you bring it up to your collarbone, flip it, and then push it up. And they're 2 separate exercises. So it takes a greater degree of technique and control. So the weights you lift are usually, they are lighter than the powerlifting exercises.
And you've got to hold them for a certain amount of time for it to be a legal lift.
Yep.
And like you'll see them like holding it above their head, like struggling, and then they'll hear like the burp, and then those hits the ground.
Because it has to be even as well. You can't be tipping to one side too much. You can't drop it, and you can't even reset your feet. So you can't be moving your feet as you're doing it, depending on the exercises.
God damn.
So at the tryout, Mark got some measurements done. So he was 6'3" and 380 pounds, or 190 centimeters and 172 kilograms. Big boy.
Very big boy.
The tryout, as I'm sure you could guess, was a massive success, and Mark was invited to live with Jan and Terry Todd while he trained.
It's like going and living it with a village of giants to train.
Yeah.
Well, it is a lot of famous, like Arnold Schwarzenegger was taken in with people who are already in the sport and live with them and train with them. And that's kind of how people in these niche sports get picked up by the greats, because
So
They
it's
create
like
a cult. Oh, it's a community.
A community, right?
of like-minded
A
individuals.
sports cult.
I mean, well, like,
we should start a sports cult.
well, I mean, isn't this sort of what we did? What, we went royal and now we're the cult of
Yes.
sport.
The royal sport cult.
Okay. So he trained for 7 months and then competed in his first Olympic-style event. So since weightlifting is an Olympic event, their meets are styled as the Olympics are held. So like train how you're going to compete kind of thing. So this was an event in Louisiana. His technique wasn't great, but he still set 4 junior national records.
His technique wasn't great, and he's just
Yeah. Didn't
smashing
matter.
records.
Didn't matter.
The USA Olympics weightlifting head coach Lynn Jones said in an interview with Sports Illustrated, and I quote, "He may be the strongest man in the world right now. He is the greatest natural talent I have ever seen." End quote.
Wow.
So after this result in this Louisiana meet, the US Olympic Commission agreed to make room for Mark at their specialized training facility in Colorado. It would to be a better place for him to prepare for the 1992 Olympic Games. The belief was, if he could master the proper technique, he would be in the running for a medal.
I was thinking when you were talking about like how he's breaking the high school records and all this, I was like, the Olympics better be in this guy's future. Otherwise, what a wasted talent.
I've worked it out in our jams. Like, I was wondering, where is this story going to go? It's 2 little persons in a suit. One's called Mark. One's called Henry.
So I was right when I called him Henry.
Can you imagine how strong you'd have to be? Like, because it's still only one of you lifting with your arms, and
Yeah,
one
Henry's
and
really
both
strong.
of you are lifting
He's
with your
got like
legs.
he's holding them up, but
Oh,
then Mark
He was in the
does
top
arms.
percentiles, 2-year-old.
Also, Carlin, little person. The Eddie Goodell story taught us a lot, and it also taught us
I'll say
that
little person, and now you cut that over.
I'll splice it.
You put it back together.
Right.
So in April of 1991, Mark's 19 years old, and he won the National Junior Championships. He came 4th in the National Championships and 6th in the World Junior Championships. So anyone under the age of 21. This is all within 1 year of Mark doing weightlifting for the first time.
In a year,
He's already that good. So in that first year, he broke all 3 junior American records, 1 for the snatch, 1 for the clean and jerk, and the 3rd for the total of the 2 weights combined. He broke records 12 times and then became the top super heavyweight in the US in all categories.
How old is he at this stage?
19.
19.
So-
So junior records at 19. When does junior stop?
21.
Okay, fair.
But then by the end of that first year in training, he was the best US in his category. So for powerlifting and weightlifting, it's not just about how much weight you move for non-Olympic events. So in the Olympics, you're only in your weight category. Same with boxing, same with anything else.
So
But-
it's like comparative to your weight?
What they do is percentage of your body weight that you've lifted across your lifts.
Right, so he has to lift more.
If
because
if
he's
you're
such a big
heavier,
guy.
you need to lift more.
Right.
But he wins in his category. So as a super heavyweight, he's really good.
So it's equity rather than equality. Like, everyone's not it's based on your weight. You have to then do more because you're...
There's a little bit more to the metric than just your body weight, but it's in the simplest form. It's if you weigh 100 kilos and you lift 500 kilos in your 3 lifts as a power lifter or your 2 lifts in as a weightlifter, you get your coefficient of 5.
Mm-hmm.
But if you're 120 and you lift the same weight, you're not as good as the person who was lighter to be able to do it.
You're not as good.
But in Olympic weightlifting, you're in your category. And as long as you're in that weight category, you could be 70 kilos to 75 kilos. If you're 75 or 70, it doesn't make a difference.
Right, sort of like boxing or
Yeah.
UFC weights classes.
So he went to the Olympics and came 10th, which was a pretty good effort.
I mean, the Olympics is like
That's the best of
pinnacle.
the best.
I suppose. But 10th. He's so big, he's breaking all these records.
Well, he did come 6th in the World Junior Championships the year before. So that's just people under 21. And then to
Okay.
come 10th in the Olympics of everyone in the world.
They, because there's Mark and Henry.
Yeah, that would have been. It's a good thing they didn't win a medal. Otherwise, how do they split it? Because that's pretty awkward. Say, oh, we need 2 medals. Why? Well,
No, they just win enough that they
One
can
for
share
this
them out.
Oh, yeah.
Mark and for Henry
Yeah.
as he flexes his arms. So his Olympic performance motivated him.
sorry, I'm just imagining the 2 little people. One's on the bottom, absolutely insane legs, but no upper body. And then the other one's all upper body, but no legs.
You'd have to have
No.
serious upper body because if they're standing on your shoulders and also putting all that extra weight on top of you.
I reckon he's like pressing them up too. So the whole time,
Yeah.
just like.
So the bottom one's
absolutely
really
jacked.
the stronger one.
Is that Mark or Henry?
Ooh.
Maybe they swap.
Yeah, swapping would probably...
Yeah, it's like that look minimizer
It's like-
guy who's working out one trap.
Yeah,
Like,
yeah.
that's Mark and Henry's doing the other side.
Sergio Montenegro. It's
Yeah.
like they're swapping out.
So Mark's Olympic performance motivated him to take weightlifting more seriously. It was kind of a trial run up to this point, seeing how it'd go. So in 1992, he came first in the USA Weightlifting Open. He also came first in the National Championships, which they're different. So the Open is anyone can come to America to compete. The Nationals are only for American athletes. And he came first in the Olympic Festival in 93 and 94. So they're not official Olympic events, but it's just, we're kind of doing our own Olympics. It's an international event. Please come on down.
I mean, any chance for more competition is just more practice.
Yeah. So by 1995, Henry's progress had... Mark Henry, sorry. I should just keep him on, or you're going to keep going with the little people.
I mean, a lot of, like, we get to... It's funny, like, Stephen Bradbury, he was called Stephen. But then in some other stories, like, Eddie Goodell was Eddie. Maybe we are always doing first names. But, like, because athletes
Carlos
are...
Raposo, Sergio...
Because athletes are normally referred to by their last name.
Well, Dick Rutan, I don't know if
You weren't calling him Dick.
Dick all the time, I don't
Yeah.
think. Maybe did
I
first
think
name and
he
last
did,
name for something like
maybe.
Margaret Abbott. Moneymaker or Chris.
Yeah.
That was kind of interchangeable.
Well, because the blooper of that one I remember was Carlin going, just be consistent on one of them. And you're like, okay. And then
No.
you start talking, he goes, wait, no, don't worry about it.
Uh,
Yeah, the listener, let us know in the comments which one we do more.
So by 1995, Mark Henry or Mark, progress has kind of stagnated at the Olympic Training Center in Colorado, where he has been living for the past 2 and a bit years, 3 years. So Mark decided to move back to Texas with his coach, Terry Todd, being his sole coach, out of the Olympic training system. Todd immediately saw that Henry needed to blend in more powerlifting. So he increased
Henry
more
needed to blend in
powerlifting
more.
into more...
What?
Henry was
you
too
stand
Olympic.
out.
You're getting-
You're getting in my head now. You're getting in my head. Todd blended in powerlifting into Mark's training, and his powerlifts improved dramatically. So Mark competed at the 1995 ADFPA National Championships, which stands for the American Drug-Free Powerlifting Association.
So that implies there is a drug one?
Well,
Like the enhanced games?
Well, a major problem with weightlifting and powerlifting at this time is there wasn't a lot of drug-tested events, and a lot of events didn't test for it. But Mark Henry only ever competed in events where everyone was drug-tested. Not just you could be picked to drug test, it was you're not allowed to compete unless you give us before, during, and after, to then make sure you're not taking...
Is the Olympics, everyone gets drug tested?
Yes. At this point, the Olympics was you had to pass a drug test to compete in these sports.
Well, that's good because they could have Mark
Do
all the testing,
but
but
Henry
Henry's,
does all the
yeah.
drugs.
Yeah.
So in that 1995 event, he had these numbers. A squat of 947.7 pounds,
Oh my God.
430 kilograms. A deadlift of 903 pounds, 410 kilograms. And a bench press of 436 pounds, or 210 kilograms, for a total of 2,315 pounds,
Holy.
or 1,050 kilograms. And he joined the 1,000 kilogram club.
Did he join or was he the inaugural member?
I don't think he was the inaugural member, but there weren't many people in this club. So this deadlift was actually the first over 900 pounds ever in a drug-tested meet. So a lot of lifters now only really consider records that were held at official meets that were drug-tested, just for consistency over time.
Yeah. I mean,
Seems
if you
fair.
were, as someone that's lifting, I'd imagine you want to go to as many as you could per your training regimen and your injuries. And all that sort of thing. If you were someone that was only going to the, hey, we might drug test you, we might not, that's a bit of a red flag.
I feel like it's like the equivalent of playing in a sport that's reputable with proper rules, like curling, of course.
Yeah.
So that same year, he won the World Championships in powerlifting and got the all-time squat record with 953 pounds or 432 kilograms, which then increased his all-time drug-tested top 3 total to 2,337 pounds or 1,060 kilograms. In 1996, he won the National Weightlifting Championships for the 3rd time, which then earned him, weightlifting championships, I think I said powerlifting, for the 3rd time, earning his spot for the 1996 Olympics. He set the American record for the snatch at 397 pounds or 180 kilograms, the clean and jerk at 485 pounds or 220 kilograms during his preparation. That wasn't at official meets, that was just him during training.
It's like, oops.
Yeah.
And during the preparation, he set a non-competition PR, so this was just in training. Those previous numbers were at practice events and meets, of a snatch at 407 or 185 kilograms and a clean and jerk of 507 pounds or 230 kilograms. Went to the Olympics and became the heaviest Olympic athlete ever, weighing 414 pounds or 188 kilograms. There's some controversy over this because there was a guy who weighed 412 in 72, and since Mark wasn't officially weighed at Olympic weigh-ins, they don't count it, but that's what he weighed at the US weigh-ins before going. So they weigh him there to then get his numbers, but the Olympics didn't officially go before you can compete, stand on the scale and we're checking your weight.
Right.
So he technically was the heaviest athlete and still is the heaviest athlete at the Olympics. The other guy was a wrestler as well.
God damn, he would be winning.
So for the Olympics, he was voted the captain of the weightlifting team. But during the Olympics, he injured his back and had to drop out halfway through, only coming 14th. Because the way it works is like pole vault or high jump. You start at a lighter weight, and if you fail, you're too many times, you're out, and you just keep going up. And he got a back injury and had to drop out. So he came 14th, which was really disappointing. So post-Olympics, Mark Henry came out and said he's quitting weightlifting forever.
What? Damn.
And vowed to never compete again, unless
Oh.
the use of anabolic steroids were banned in all events.
Hey, good on him.
Isn't it already? And like,
It's in the Olympics and some events, but there are other meets where you're allowed to be on steroids. So you could be an athlete
well, how could they ban it in all events?
but to then go, if you've ever been caught using them, you can't compete in other events. So it's, I'm going to compete in all the non-regulated events and do really, really well, and then get to go to the Olympics and be clean for the Olympics. Is kind of the idea, to be, hey, if you've been caught, you shouldn't be allowed to compete. Or, hey, if you're doing unregulated events, it's not fair for people who are natural lifters and doing the right thing.
Because you can set yourself like a really good baseline. Like if you got on steroids and then worked out on steroids for a period of time and then got off them, all that muscle's not just going to disappear. All that strength doesn't just go away. As long as you keep working at it, it's going to stay there. You won't do it progress as quickly. But you've like just taken a shortcut to get to this spot.
No, you can maintain it.
And there's nothing wrong with someone in their personal life who's not competing, doing a cycle of testosterone or taking anabolic steroids for their own health and well-being. You should consult medical professionals before you do any of these things. But if you go, I want to do one cycle of tren to give me a head start, and you want to make that decision, that's fine, but just don't compete because it's dishonest.
Mm-hmm. And we don't condone that.
We don't condone that. So following his retirement, he then signed a 10-year contract with the WWE.
Oh, I was waiting for like, this is all like really fascinating, really great, like breaking all these records. It's really cool, but it wasn't wild yet.
You don't think it's wild to be this strong?
I mean, it's pretty
Yeah.
wild, but
To Mark be on top of Henry this long and
Yeah.
not get caught.
Yeah, okay. But I mean, in that sense, it's like, are we going to do a story about Messi or Ronaldo?
I think we could. They're pretty wild.
but like,
Yeah.
I mean, they're just great. Like Manny Ramirez, that's a wild story.
Well, let's see how, when we get through the story, and we'll see. Let's not count our chickens before they hatch, or...
What's more interesting, Ronaldo or curling brooms?
Well, where we ranked it, I thought the curling brooms were more interesting. Ben was the one that's blowing up on that.
Okay, so Mark Henry made his... I don't know if... Like, I'm saying WWE. If you're really into wrestling, it might be WWF or SmackDown. There are all these different organizations within
Like it was
professional
earlier.
wrestling.
AEW.
He's a professional wrestler. So I'm just going to call it WWE because that's what I know it as. It is debut on the 22nd of September, 1996.
What age is he now? Is he 25?
Yep, 25.
Cool. I can do math.
And
Good job.
Thank you.
he had the moniker, his title was the world's strongest man.
Yep. Yeah, I buy that. Fair enough. Fair
Yeah.
enough too.
So Mark Henry was so strong that he would, in his everyday life, just imagine the things he could do with his strength to everyday items.
Crush a
What?
cup. Smash a bottle in his hand.
So in the car park at the WWE recording areas or
It's
the
like Mr.
studios or
Incredible
anything,
pulls the door off.
Da-da-da-da-da-da. He's pulling the trains, doing all that.
he
Crazy
saw a Mini
stuff.
Cooper and then wondered if he could just lift it. So he grabs the back of it with one hand and lifts the wheel completely off the ground.
I remember that sort of happening with my little car that I had in college, and it wasn't one person, but all my friends were like, let's move James's car, and so they just pick it up, and
Turn it
because it was so
sideways.
yeah, like it's so small they can do it.
So one of the WWE people there
I think they were my friends.
saw him do it, and went, "We need to get that on TV. We need to start doing feats of strength as part of the WWE programming, in addition to wrestling."
Well, that's good because they probably saw us like, okay, you can wrestle. You're not allowed to jump off the top rope though. You're going to destroy the ring.
You like crush him and kill
Yeah.
him.
Is that,
Oh,
did I just?
no.
Oh no.
So a lot of the other wrestlers were like, "Oh, okay, he's the world's strongest man. How strong really is he?" And I don't know how much of it's put on for TV, but I'm sure if you're in a profession where you're strong and tough, having someone be "I am the strongest" can probably boil your blood, boil your piss a little bit. So he was given a stainless steel frying pan. And to this day, Mark Henry says it's one of the hardest feats that he had to do, to be given it and then just roll it up. So I'm sure we've all seen videos of just a regular frying pan and, really strong people roll it up.
Yeah, I've seen that. No, I haven't seen
No,
that.
what are you talking about?
So
What
like
algorithm is this?
So like a non-stick pan is easier to roll up than a stainless steel pan.
I can believe it, but I haven't seen it. Like,
I've come across my feed a few times. So I'm being like, "Look at this! I'm really strong and tough." Or like, I can rip a phone book in half.
that
That guy,
don't
like
know if
the hairy
phone
punches
book's come
nails
across, but-
punches nails into blocks of wood.
I remember
Yeah.
seeing a guy rip a phone book at Questacon, and that was pretty cool because he got like people up, come rip the phone book. Here, I just did it, and then
He
they
was
really
just a visitor
struggling.
to Questacon.
He was-
He's like, I
yeah.
can do it.
But he wasn't like a strong dude anyway because there was like a science behind it.
So he said that was the first time he'd ever bent something and heard it like scream at him. So he
And that was when Mark and Henry split. Henry's like, I can't do this. I'm an empath for inanimate objects.
So he's said, like, I always worked really hard and was strong, but God just gave me this gift to be superhumanly strong. So he tries it. There's videos where it's like a WWE thing. He tries to, it's not working. And then he just roars and then calls out the frying pan. And he's so angry. He gets it and shoves in the guy that gave it to him. He gave him like a red mark on him.
Whoa.
And then they go, "Okay, well, you can bend a frying pan. Now bend this steel rod." The same, like, the concrete, like rebar?
Yeah.
You know how it's like sharp and kind of bound? And they
Yeah.
trim that off?
Yeah, and that goes
Just
through
as-
our uncle's calf
Yeah.
when he's on the
so
website.
that thing, a 46-inch cold roll, which is a stronger form of steel than a hot roll. They gave it to him and said, "Bend it with your steel hands then if you're so strong." So
That's definitely like
Made him a
a
balloon animal.
emasculated. Oh, well, but you can't do it with this even stronger thing that we can't do.
So he said in interviews after his career and looking back on things that it was bending steel bar was like a circus trick, like strongman competitions. Hey, look how strong we are. We can bend this steel. He goes, it's dangerous because the way you bend it is you put it over your leg and push down on it, and then you tuck it into your stomach to then pull it up.
Yeah.
So they use towels or like leather pads
Oh,
because as you're bending it, it can get really sharp as it breaks. And this 46-inch cold roll had
He
never
does it
been
with his
bent.
fingers.
yeah. Or the way, like, when you're doing it and then it just so happens it snaps or something and then boom, you've just impaled yourself with it.
Yeah, so
Ugh.
this 46-inch
That
cold
doesn't
roll...
happen, does it?
No.
Okay,
This
cool.
46-inch cold roll, when I was watching the video, I was like, oh, this can't go well. Bent it. It was the first time this had been done. So this is a first ever that he'd done this, bending this roll. And then another feat he did for the WWE was he lifted a 6,000-pound car. So after seeing him lift the
Bobby
Mini
said?
Cooper, no. So the plan initially was for him to kind of deadlift the side of the car, lifting 2 wheels and tipping it over.
See, okay, like that's insanely impressive because a bar with weight on it, like you grab the bar, the weight's even across it. There's a perfect spot for you to grab. Like grabbing a car, like sure you can lift that bit, but then the weight transfer of how much is in front of you or beside you, like
Tips forwards.
yeah, like that's wow.
So he went, that's too easy. So he said, I'm going to try do it just with my legs. I'm going to lift it with only my legs. So he opened the passenger side door and wedged himself in the door frame with a towel over his shoulders, arms just in the car, not helping lift, and then lifted the car up with just his legs.
What?
Wow.
Wow.
Like a jack.
I can't
A human
believe
jack.
either Mark or Henry was able to do it with just their legs.
Would,
Like-
would that have been Mark or Henry if they're doing it with
No,
the legs?
see, that's because one of them left because they were an empath for inanimate objects. So it was just the
But
one
did
of
they
them
leave?
now.
They left. They went on hiatus, and he was like, "Oh, I'm really hunched for a bit."
Mhm.
Really strong.
Another thing, in a rehearsal for a skit, they get a semi-trailer. And Vince, what's his name? Vince McMahon goes, Mark, can you pull this? He goes, sure. Pulls it really easily. And Vince goes, can you do 2? He's like, why would I want to do 2?
Yeah.
One's 55,000 pounds that I'm pulling. Why would I want to do 2? And they're like, okay, give it a go. So they set it up and build a custom rig for it, and he can't move them. And he goes, I'm just tired. We'll do it live. It'll be fine. And he's just failed
It's
it.
like
Yeah.
Postacoglu level.
Yeah.
Yep.
So it's a live
In
thing.
my second attempt.
They go outside, cut to him. There's an EMT, ambulance crew next to him because of how much he's going to exert himself.
Oh my god.
And he does a first lunge and it doesn't move at all. Then he roars again and pushes through and is able to pull the 2 semi-trucks for 25 feet,
Wow.
which was the distance you need to do it for a world record. So he had the world record for pulling the heaviest object at 110,000 pounds.
Wow. What an effort.
Another feat he did was the NFL Combine bench press.
Oh yeah.
So that's how many reps you can do of 225 pounds. So the NFL record, James, is...
Oh, it's like in the 50s. It's like 56, 52, 51?
Yes, 51 in 1999.
It's like in the 50s. It's like 51.
Yeah, 51. You got it. Spot on.
Wow. First try as well.
I
That's
know.
impressive, James.
So Mark Henry had his song come out, gets out, lies down the bench.
Do you have his song?
No, I didn't didn't look into it. So he did...
It was I Get High by Styles P, just like Manny Ramirez.
well, he did 53 reps, breaking the world record.
Wow.
So he lifted 5.3 tons in just over a minute.
Someone else did
Wow.
51 though before.
Yeah.
That's insane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, wow. Because the gym app, the app I use when I go to the gym and you track everything and it counts it all. At the end it goes, wow, you lifted a total of this amount throughout the whole session. Like if you lift 50 kilos 10 times for 3 sets, it'll add that all up. And it's like, wow, you could have moved 3 elephants today or something like that. I'm like, huh.
You
Okay.
cut them into smaller pieces.
Yeah. Yeah.
You put them in your giant Tesla coil and exploded them.
Yeah.
So another thing he did in competition, because they're just his circus tricks for WWE. You know what a suplex is in wrestling?
Is that it?
It's where you are holding someone, their faces to you. You jump off and slam their back into the mat. Do you know who the Big Show is? I've heard that name.
Big Show. It's Glenn Maxwell. He's the Big Show.
The Big Show in wrestling.
Okay.
If you don't know, he's a 440-pound man mountain.
Okay, it's not like a Little John sort of thing. He is.
No,
big.
he is huge. He is like a giant. He's known as a giant. He's just I don't know if he has giganticism, but he is huge. Mark Henry did multiple feats with him. So one was picking him up, putting him to his chest, lifting him above his head to head height, and then slamming him into a table. And he says that there's no one alive that could do that. Because like the physics of lifting up a person is very different than a bar, and all that weight's in front of you. Another thing he did was, from the top rope, suplex the Big Show.
There's no way the ropes held that.
And the whole thing collapsed.
Yeah.
When he did it. And he also became the WWE World Champion once. He was a heel for most of his career.
Yeah.
So he also had this thing called the Hall of Pain. So what he would do is get like the steel
What's
chair.
a heel, sorry?
Heel is the bad guy. So you got the face as the good guy like John Cena. And then you got,
Until his heel turn.
Until his heel turn.
Which was one of my wildest moments of 2025.
And also, did you know that Mark Henry said that John Cena was the second strongest man in wrestling? Behind
Really?
himself.
Wow. The Rock would not like to hear that.
His are all glamour muscles.
Yeah.
And apparently takes a lot of PEDs.
Yeah, he's got no hair. Like it's pretty clear. He used to have hair and now he doesn't.
So what he would do is he'd get you on the ground, put the steel chair, and put your leg through it, and then jump and just do a body slam on top of it from the top rope. And it would mess you
Nice.
up. But
Yeah.
he was celebrated. He had a 25-year wrestling career.
Wow.
And
So till he was 50.
yeah.
Wow.
He was doing it. He did it until 2000 and what would it have been? 23, I think, or no, it can't be 23, 13.
What do you say it was 96?
96, 21. Yeah, 2021. He had a
Wow.
career till 2021 in wrestling.
That's a long time to be putting your body through that sort of like physicality.
I think the last
Yeah.
few years were like he was like an announcer person that then got involved every now and again.
Oh, but even so, to still like be doing that sort of activity.
So he was inducted to the Wrestling Hall of Fame in 2019. But a topic out of wrestling. So in 2002, so 6 years into his wrestling career, Mark went to Vince McMahon and asked for permission to take a break from wrestling to compete in the inaugural Arnold Strongman Classic. The growth of strongman competitions had led some fans of wrestling and strongman, as well as some competitors in the strongman, powerlifting, and weightlifting scenes, to say that Mark's title and moniker of World's Strongest Man is a lie and isn't true. And
Because
Mark,
he didn't compete on those events.
because
that's what
he
people
wasn't, because if you won the World's Strongest Man, you were the World's Strongest Man.
Yeah.
And he was billed as the World's Strongest Man.
Right.
And he went to Vince, and Vince said, yeah, you can do it. But just so you know, there's no room in this organization for the second strongest man.
So it's like you can go and do it, but you either come back a winner or you don't come back at all.
Exactly.
Okay.
So Mark Henry called up his old friend, Terry Todd. And
Terry
said,
and Todd.
yeah.
They're like really tall guys and they're stacked one on top of another.
and said, can you train me to compete in this competition?
And if this was the movie, that's where they say, no, we can't. And then they have it like after like a little 5-minute little chat in the rain, they say, they have a big little shouting match about how much I believed in you. You gave up the Olympics and I trusted you. And then it all comes back. Is that what happened?
No, he said, yeah, sure, I'll help train you.
Well, as we learnt from the bobsled story, movies about sporting moments don't have
1%.
to be.
But they also
Yeah.
had I guess they could have had a falling out, but he gave up weightlifting for the drug use problems in
Yeah.
the sport, and Terry was also not a fan of anabolic steroids being used.
We can
in
change that
things.
for the movie. We can change that for the movie.
Yeah, so Terry was also asked as an expert on historic strongman competitions, had his doctorate by this point for sure, and was involved in the designing what events should be done, just knew all the history and was working with Arnold Schwarzenegger for
So he's almost got
organising
an
the event.
inside man.
It was known what the events would be, so the strongmen could train for it, because as the inaugural event, you want them to succeed.
They had total recall of the entire event.
So
Terminator.
Mark trained for 6 to 8 weeks, specifically on the strongman events. So we've talked about the difference between weightlifting and powerlifting. What do you think the difference for those and strongman is?
I think strongman's like a lots of events sort of thing, multiple discipline. Like it combines.
Is strongman the one where they're picking up that giant concrete ball and then they've got to move it onto this pillar and then they run across and have to pick up the other one and move it onto a higher one and then so on and so
Yeah,
forth?
so instead of like set lifts, it's more we're going to target different events and random things that you have to do. You have to do a 15 kilo kettlebell and throw it 20 meters in the air. Or you've got to lift 800-pound wooden frame and walk it up a hill.
So you might not get the best score in everything, but you're still the world's strongest man.
And then you hold a 30-kilogram hammer for as long as possible with your arms fully straight.
Yeah.
Those kind of tasks. So strongman more closely resembles the old school like circus shows and freak feats of strength. Those kind of oddities that the regular person can't even think about doing.
The guy in like with the curly moustache at the circus with like the leopard print leotard thing.
Yeah. Exactly like that. That's what strongman was meant to be, where anyone can go into the gym and do a deadlift. They can't lift 900 pounds, but they can do that exercise. No one else can hold a 30-kilogram hammer fully arm length unless you're
or throw the kettlebell so high. Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
But modern strongman focuses on muscular endurance rather than just pure strength, and also your aerobic capacity, because events could go up to 90 seconds. So it's not just how much weight you can move or how quickly you can move weight. You need to be able to last for a longer period of time to get these events. That's where the Arnold Classic came in, because they went, you're not actually the strongest in the strongest man competitions. It's whoever has the best balance between strength, endurance, and aerobic capacity.
Yeah, who
and that's
like
not,
bought their stats the best.
And that's not
the
strength.
Screen.
So
Who's
the Arnold
the best?
Classic was broken into 4 events. So this time there was already the Arnold show, which was bodybuilding, martial arts, and other physical disciplines. But this was the first strongman style event. The first one was the Appollons Wheels. So this is a classic strongman event where you have train wheels with a fixed axle. So weightlifting bars, the middle of it spins with the weight so you can rotate your wrists around. This was a fixed bar, so you didn't have any rotation unless you rotated the whole weights. It weighed 366 pounds or 166 kilograms and was invented by the French strongman Louis Uni, or Apollo was his like moniker as a performer. And he was a circus performer. The wheels have a 26-inch diameter and the axle is 5 centimeters thick. So you can't even wrap your hands around it.
Wow.
The fact that the bar didn't rotate actually made it a lot harder.
Yeah.
Because when you're lifting it up, if you're going underneath, it's hard to then lift because you had to clean and press or clean and jerk it above your head. So you had to lift it up and over your head. At the time of this competition, 3 to 4 people in history had ever done this lift.
Wow. That's not a lot.
The second event was a max deadlift for reps. Originally, the event was meant to be deadlifting a Hummer, but in the warm-ups, they found the Hummer was too heavy to lift dramatically enough for it to be entertaining. So they then went, we'll just do weights. Third event was the Hummer push. So you had to push a Hummer with its...
We have to use the Hummer.
Yeah.
Well,
we got to do something
Arnold
with it. We paid
Schwarzenegger,
for it.
He loves Hummers, and they were a big sponsor for this event.
Yeah, they come into it like, Arnold, we haven't seen anyone do anything with the Hummer yet. What's going on?
So they deflated all the tires, and then you had to push the Hummer. So deflating them makes it a lot harder to move. And the last event was the timber carry, which is a farmer's walk, which is your arms extended, holding grip strength and your shoulder strength, really, and back strength, as well as your legs. It's a whole body kind of exercise, but it's a functional strength exercise. So it's one that everyone should be able to do to a level for just functional strength. Whereas
when you're carrying the groceries.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In one trip.
Yeah. It's so funny that I'm sure this is a universal experience for a lot of people, but like the amount of time that I've wasted gathering everything into my arm so that I can do it in one trip is...
And then dropping something.
Well, no, it's like... I don't know what the word
it's
is.
excessive.
Yeah, it's excessively longer than the time it would be for me to do 2 or 3 trips.
And then things get bruised, or it's like more cumbersome to get anywhere as well.
Yeah, and then I get to the door and it's like, where's the keys? And then it's like, the dance. Whereas if I just did this in 3 trips...
This is where like you have kids and then wait 10 years, then you got like your personal little slaves.
And then they do it in one trip.
And then make a mess.
Yeah. Hey, if you've got Henry and Mark as your 2 kids...
So there were 8 competitors in this event. Brian Schoolveld. Sorry if I mispronounce any of these names. He was a
Hit
two-time
us up at Wild World of Sport
American
if we did.
strongman, so he competed twice at the World's Strongest Man competition. Mark Philippi, who was a professional powerlifter and the winner of the American Strongest Man. Phil Feister, who was a 3-time World's Strongest Man finalist. Sven Carlson, a former bodybuilder, and the 2001's World's Strongest Man champion, so the previous year. Brad Gillingham, an IPF super heavyweight powerlifter and world champion. Andrew Bolton, the International Powerlifting Congress champion and an 8-time British powerlifting champion. And Raimons Bergmanis, a 3-time Olympian weightlifter from Latvia, who holds all 21 Latvian records in weightlifting at that time.
Is it just me or Latvia just screams like strongman?
Yeah, it does.
Like I just meant like strong powerlifting. Like that's
I'm not
a
sure
good
why.
stereotype.
And the 8th competitor was Mark Henry, of course. So in the first
Mark and
Mark
Henry.
and Henry.
Yeah.
in that first event, the Appollons Wheels, only one competitor was able to complete the lift, and that was Mark
and Henry.
Philippi.
Yeah. Philippi. Oh.
Because Henry...
Phil and P.
Oh.
That was because Mark and Henry were able to do 3 reps
What?
of the wheels and became the first person to ever do multiple reps of the Appollons Wheels.
And everyone else at the tournament was like, all right, well, he's going to win.
So Henry said, and I quote, "In my mind, I was going to do it once for every one who had done it before in history." And he, in his like retirement reflecting, he compares like to LeBron. And LeBron going, "I have to be so great because all of my people that I'm competing against are gone. They've all retired or they're dead. All the greats, they're done. So I'm not competing with the people next to me. I'm competing with history." And he had a similar perspective on it. So in preparation for this, he hired a smith to make replicas.
As in a blacksmith.
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, an iron welder,
Yeah,
technically,
okay.
but I'm calling him like a black. If you're
Yeah,
doing
yeah.
that, you're a blacksmith kind of thing. So he made a replica, but he made it too light, 165 pounds instead of 360 pounds.
How did he get that
65 pounds.
wrong? Henry surely picked that up and went, yeah, you know what?
He just gave him the dimensions, but he said, make the axle thicker so it's harder as well.
Right. Okay.
So then he went, I can just put some extra weight on it. He went, no, just make me more. One that's heavier, and then one that's 400 pounds, so it's heavier than the one I'll do in competition.
So sort of like you put ankle weights and then run, and then when you take them off, you can run even quicker because your legs are used to that, the extra weight.
So the 400-pound Appollons Wheels is what they currently use in strongmans today. So Henry would be able, if he at that time was doing that, he'd be able to do that lift as well.
Because I imagine like some of his records have been broken since.
Some of them, yeah.
Yeah, because as sports grow, people find better ways, and it's like the NFL Combine's rife with this. It's not necessarily people are getting better at it; they're getting better at beating the test. So that like Mark Henry's done here, that maybe no one else was doing. He was specifically training,
swapping out with Henry and Mark each.
but he's
lift.
specifically training to do this event, so he's going to be better at it as someone that's, I'm just training to be strong and strong and strong, and then it comes to this thing, you've never done it, so you're not going to be as good.
Well, there are some, like the Appollons Wheels, you have 7 of the better strongmen in the world, and then Mark Henry, and only one of them was able to do the lift once, and then Henry does it 3 times. Even if you go the training, it's just also have to kind of be a freak of nature to do that. So in the second event was the deadlift, and he did 2 reps at 401 kilograms and came second. The winner doing 3 reps.
Ooh.
In that one, the plates were oiled plates, which are taller, so they started a higher height, so it's easy to do more weight. And Henry didn't realize there was a difference, so he would have put more weight on. But he said he sucked at multiple rep sets because his whole life he'd trained to do 1 rep maxes.
Yeah. That's why he's coming for the Arnold Classic of this as opposed to the endurance style.
Yep.
Then he did 3 reps.
But there are still endurance style events, like the Hummer push was a endurance event. You had 30 seconds to move it. So it's not quite 90 seconds, but it is an endurance event. And he came 5th with a time of 20.59 seconds, 3 seconds off first place.
He better hope he gets a lot of points for the 3.
Yeah.
And in the final event, he came 3rd
Whoa.
in the Farmer's Walk with a time of 10.09 8.19 seconds, 1.5 seconds off first place. So if you won the event, you got 8 points. If you came second, you got 7, all the way down to 1. He had a final point total of 25 of available 32 points.
As from a pure like story perspective, I like that he didn't come first and everything, and then it's just a given. I'm like in suspense now, waiting to see where he finished.
This is where he retires.
He beat Sven Karlsson, last year's World's Strongest Man winner, who only had 23 points. So Henry won the event.
Woo.
And was crowned the Arnold Strongman Classic World's Strongest Man.
So Henry got it this time, not Mark.
Yep. So they, at the closing ceremony, they offered an extra challenge to all the competitors. For $1,000, they asked competitors to clean and jerk press the Thomas Inch dumbbell. Have you heard of the Thomas Inch dumbbell?
Yeah, I have.
I have not.
So it's a dumbbell that weighs 78 kilograms or 172 pounds, and the handle of the dumbbell is the thickness of a can, like a beer can or a can of Coke. At this point, only 4 people had lifted it 4 inches off the ground. And they wanted them to clean up to the collar, turn, and press it above their head, which no one had ever done. One of the competitors rested on their leg to then get it up, so they were disqualified. But Mark Henry came the closest, being able to clean it up to his armpit and then just couldn't get the transition to then push it up. And he was pissed. He hated failing at things that he thought he could do. So got the microphone and said, I will be the first person to ever do this. I'm not going to let it beat me. And the following year at like a charity dinner for like strongman stuff, he did it in front of everyone and became the first person to clean and jerk the Thomas Inch dumbbell. Nice. He also lifted the Millennium dumbbell, which is the same but heavier. I think it's 100 kilos. So still crazy impressive.
Yeah, wow.
So I've got a few more anecdotes in the wrestling world of Mark Henry's strength. So one is the Big Show. It was 440 pounds, and came into the gym, training center, and saw Mark there just seething and upset and frustrated. And there's like a brotherhood in wrestling, and went, hey, you all good? And he goes, no, I can't tear a quarter in half. And he notices in his lap there's a bunch of quarters that have been bent. And not like fold in half, like top down rip it.
Yeah.
So think a 10-cent piece for Australians. Just grabbing that with your fingers and tearing it in half. He was upset he couldn't do that. He could bend it, but it wouldn't rip.
I guess the size of it in his giant hands and everything.
He's like Shrek.
But that frustrated him. That upset him. Another one is when he was on a holiday with his family, one of his kids like cussed his wife or cursed or swore. And he got so angry when driving, he bent the steering wheel and the steering column in the rental car just in frustration.
Oh, wow.
And then...
How do you explain that to the insurance?
Well, he bent it back.
You don't have to.
It was a Hummer. Arnold was like, well, whatever, man.
Yeah. So, obviously, Mark Henry was incredibly strong. He was a multi-sport athlete who had held the world title in 3 sports: powerlifting, strongman, and wrestling. He was also a 2-time Olympian in weightlifting. But he still has a case to be the strongest man ever. And from what I could find, is the only member of the 1,500 kilogram club. So when he was a wrestler, he was allowed to have the title of the world's strongest man from his super total. So your super total is your combination of weightlifting and powerlifting competitive lifts. So it can't just be a at-home PB or anything. It has to be in official competitions. And he gets his super total. So he had 397 pounds in the snatch, which is in one fluid motion, lift the weight off the floor, get underneath it, already over your head, and then stand up straight.
He bench presses the whole world next.
Yeah.
180 kilograms in that. 485 pounds in the clean and jerk, where you're allowed to do it in 2 separate motions, up, underneath, and push, or 220 kilograms. A 953.5 pound squat, 432.5 kilograms. A 581 pound bench press at 263.5 kilograms, and a 904 pound deadlift, 410 kilograms. There's inflation in lifting. So his deadlift, which at the time was the world record, is 100 kilos lighter than the current world record deadlift at 510 kilograms. Eddie Hall did 500, and that's the one where his eyes and nose bleeds, and he's like put his body through the max. And it's 100 kilos more than what he's currently done. But that total is 3,219 pounds or 1,506 kilograms.
Sheesh.
If you include his unofficial recorded training times that there's video of, was at some point videoed, and I trust Mark Henry on his own things if he quit because of drug testing and only ever competed in drug-tested events.
Seems like a very reliable source.
His total would be 3,445 pounds or 1,563 kilograms.
As well, he's not adding it by like, oh yeah, it was actually 1,800 pounds or kilograms.
And then just remember...
Like Pele just like, actually I just got another one later.
Yeah, you guys forgot that one.
Remember that this guy was also able to dunk a basketball.
Wow. But where does he rank on the Wild and Mild scientific ranking board? We'll find out when we come back from a short little break. Welcome back to Wild World Sport. This is your first time enjoying, listening, benching the podcast. If you're listening at the gym, hopefully you hit a couple PRs. This is the part of the show where we rank the story we just heard on our very scientific Wild and Mild ranking board, which is brought to us by To All My Friends Bar in Cook.
Yeah, it is. It's also brought to you by us three and the EP as well.
Yep.
So, it's not nothing, the work we do to get this out to you guys. So we'd appreciate if you like, subscribe, follow, tell a friend, and most importantly, give a 5-star review. That's not the most important thing. Most important thing is you listen.
Most important, get a beer For All My Friends.
No, but what if someone's listening that's a child, Carlin?
Yeah,
Well, then
or they're
get a pizza.
a teetotaler.
You can get a pizza.
Or they're not
And
in Australia.
Maybe you're gluten free.
What if they have a problem with
The
when they
wings
drink,
are
they
technically
then
gluten free. I think.
don't want to smoke anymore or vape, and when they drink, it encourages them to do bad things. And they're just trying to
Have
make
the chicken
changes.
wings. The chicken wings are really good.
Okay. Don't get the beer battered fish. It counts as beer battered.
But-
as beer.
Despite your age or your location or any other thing that might prevent you from going to All My Friends, you can like this podcast or the podcast page on YouTube, or you can subscribe. You can like the videos. You can follow on Instagram and TikTok. You can leave a comment. You can do a whole
something
range
on
of stuff.
Audible,
Send
probably.
us some messages, and 5-star reviews really helps to grow the show and keep us doing the fun stuff that we're doing here. And please tell your family, tell your friends. If you know people that love sport and they love the weird oddities of sport, let them know what we're doing here. And if you're someone sharing these stories, give us a little bit of credit, because we give credit to where we find these things sometimes when Carlin remembers to send me his references.
Sometimes when James looks up my references after I tell him what they are.
But we're going to rank this story now. I'll start because I'm talking right now. I'm excited to rank this because I think this is the first time this season we're going to have to maybe debate against other stories properly. Last episode of the 1909 Grand Final, we loosely debated whether it was above or below Jamaican bobsled. But I think this is wilder than Stephen Bradbury, I think, all the feats. Is it wilder than Bob Probert is what I'm tossing up. Because for a feat of athleticism, insane. But what Bob Probert did, I don't know. Are you guys on the same page?
Per capita too, he's a big guy. You'd expect him to lift big weights. But then that being said, he has still been impressive regardless.
Yeah.
Also, sure.
The thing I just realized then is I didn't think of it once doing the research, writing the script for this episode, but imagine trying to spot that. Like, you can't go to the gym and find
Two people
spotter.
would spot it.
Like, but even two people.
Yeah.
You go, I'm bench pressing 260 kilos. You go, if I'm pushing and I'm pushing so hard I black out, you'd need 2 or 3 people minimum to then get that weight off you. You're squatting 600 pounds or whatever it was, like 400 kilograms.
Don't black out.
Yeah.
He'd know. When he's doing that, he knows that no one's helping.
But just think of that. And then the other thing I don't think I mentioned was he's been celebrated in wrestling for not injuring people. Like, apart from scripted when you're supposed to
Yeah.
hurt people. But in the ring, he was like, so we're not giving anyone a serious injury. Especially when he was so heavy and so strong, you could have easily really done some damage. And he was like celebrated as part of his career as being the heel, being the bad guy, not hurting anyone, which is impressive. It's not wild, it's just impressive.
Yeah, it is impressive.
I think it's wild.
It goes into the
in a way.
wildness. Are you guys on the same page with me that we're debating Bob Probert territory?
I think Bob Probert has a slight edge simply because there's like the goofiness that comes with the story and some of the crazy things about it. Plus, he was quite, impressive in his sport as well.
Yeah, Bob Probert is a conversation for greatest of all time at what he did fighting in hockey. Mark Henry is in the debate for greatest powerlifter, weightlifter of all time because as he'd said, and people who have world records in physical events, once you're the world champion, you're always the world champion. Once you're the best in the world at something, you were always the best in the world at something. You don't just lose that title because someone then did 1 kilogram more than you or 0.1 of a second faster.
Yeah, I guess the debate's coming down to how much is being the best in your chosen sport actually wild.
Well,
And because there was, like, Stephen Bradbury, he can always say he won Olympic gold, that he was, at a time, the best speed skater in the world. But that's not what makes a story wild. It's everything that happened. There was no, like, thing that happened with Mark Henry that was like, oh, wow, that's so crazy. And apart from him just being an anomaly, which every
guess
strongman is going to be.
Going from like 1 year into weightlifting to being the best in the country at weightlifting on 1 year, or going into wrestling, just being a strong, having a career and then doing a 25 career in wrestling, or going, I'm going to compete in a strongman where people train for years and beat the previous winner in a similar style event with 6 weeks of training. Is kind
very
of the
Volk.
he's a 3 sport athlete, potentially 4 sport athlete.
Triple threat.
That triple threat, 3 world titles in 3 different sports. That's like you go, oh, I'm a great MMA fighter or boxer. I've won the title in 2 categories. I've won 3 different sports. They're all in the same genre of sport, but I think it's above Bradbury, but personally I think it's below Probert because I think there was just so much more to Bob Probert's life outside his own physical achievements or his own performance, because there's not much in Mark Henry's story that is outside of Mark Henry being in the best possible way, a freak of nature.
Yeah. Yeah, I agree with that. Carlin?
Yeah, because he like the comparisons are he's a bit of a circus freak. Not to discredit him in any way, it's incredible, but it's like, of course, it's not of course, like he's still achieved quite a lot, but he's just the man is a freak of nature. He's huge. He's like massive. He's so good at lifting weights. That's what he does. It's just not super wild, just because it's not that surprising to me. So I just feel like it's just shorter than Bob Probert. But yeah, it's probably more than Stephen Bradbury.
Yeah, I think, because if you're looking on our YouTube, you can see the board in the background of where Ben is, and the photos will also be posted on our Instagram and TikTok pages at Wild World of Sport Pod. They'll be pinned at the top. Every new episode is pinned there, the little announcement we do. There is a gap for 2 stories between Bob Probert and Stephen Bradbury. I'm inclined to put it just above Bradbury and then leaving a gap and then Probert. What do you guys think there?
We can always shuffle it around, can't we? I guess we can't really.
We can always
stick it sideways.
We can always put it in between stories. So if then we decide there's one between Bradbury and Mark and Henry, then we'd push Mark Henry up into that gap, I think.
Yeah, or we could just put it side by side, like next to
No,
it.
we're not doing side by side anymore.
No. We'll fix it when we do our super scientific rankings.
Well, let me spot you for this.
What are we calling it?
Mark and Henry.
World's strongest men.
I just think, like, if you go to the gym, James goes to the gym. Have you ever, like, you see someone that's
Jim
real...
goes to the gym?
You go to the gym and you see someone that's, like, ridiculously strong. Well, not ridiculous.
He looks in a mirror.
They're way stronger than me, and you see them lifting something, you go, I couldn't even think of doing that currently at my level.
Oh, yeah.
When they go pick up, like,
But then-
the dumbbells, and it's just like...
But then...
Or they're like, someone's like, oh, can you spot me? It's like, no, I can't. What are you talking about?
But then imagine that guy. He's probably further away from Mark Henry than you are to that guy.
Yeah. Yeah, it's like the guy that's the worst ever NBA player, and he does pick up basketball games against guys that are like, oh, I could beat you. And it's like, I am closer to LeBron James than you are to me.
Yeah, wasn't there a show where it was a guy that like averaged 3 minutes, went around and challenged people who said he was trash and like whooped them?
Yeah, killed him.
Yeah.
But there it is. Mark and Henry, as it's gone on the board, is our little inside joke with you. Mark Henry, the world's strongest man, is our second wildest story of the season so far, just above Stephen Bradbury, but below Bob Probert.
Stephen Bradbury's going to come in later at the end of all this and just
Yeah.
Oh, that'd be a great
snipe the
story.
win.
That'd be great. It's not poetic justice.
It's not even irony. It's
Yeah.
like, it's just meant to happen.
Yeah.
But like that's what'll happen in our scientific rankings. It'll do.
Which you will find at the end of this season, once we've gotten through another... I don't want to...
Very other scientific process. Our scientific
15
adjacent
stories?
process.
Yeah, 15.
About 15 more for this season. And
5 more each.
not that we're struggling to find them or anything, but if you have a story that you want us to have a look at, let us know. Send us a message at Wild World of Sport on Instagram, TikTok, on Spotify.
YouTube.
At TAMP when we're there.
Yeah.
Yeah, come find us. Leave a note at the bar. And maybe some money too. That'd be
Oh,
cool.
yeah.
to
Pick
pay
up
for
the
your
tab.
drinks. Oh, okay. Yeah, that too.
And 5 stars wherever you are. Tell your friends. Get around it. And make sure we brought it up a couple of weeks ago. Play it for your pets. Great engagement for when you're leaving your animals at home.
I have a cat and I can say for certain that she loves listening to Wild World of Sport pod to soothe her while I'm at work.
It's lovely. Very wholesome. But there you have it.
What's
I've
your cat's
been...
name, just for a shout out?
Lily?
Lily?
Shout out to Lily.
Enjoy this, Lily.
Can we put photos of Lily on the
Yeah, why not?
on the socials?
Let's do
Everyone
it.
would love that.
Yeah, you can see it. You just have to swipe through.
We can all put photos of our cats. We can put some Abby photos. We can put some Silky photos.
I've been James Wybrow.
I've been your spotter for this episode, Ben Wybrow, I'm no relation.
I've been Carlin and Sheaves.
Good. I like it. I like where you're going with it. Great,
Hello,
great joke. Great
I'm
joke for the
Sheaves.
episode.
Oh, hey Sheaves.
All right. See you next time.
Bye.
Bye. If you do a push-up, you are bench pressing the world. A little bit.
In a way, yeah.
Just a teeny bit.
Yeah, the amount you are putting force into the planet. I think it kind of gets, wiped out with how fast it's rotating. I think it's pretty negligible, but
Don't bring science into this.
But
So-
you're still
but-
completing a full range of motion bench press of the entire Earth.